So welcome back to Sailing Puffin. Last week I managed to fair the cockpit floor. Did an okayish job with what I had, but this week I will be sanding this down, seeing how smooth I can get it, and whether I need to do a little bit more fairing, maybe to correct my mistakes, but hopefully this week I'll get it painted and it'll be protected. So rain has stopped play. It's a bit of a thunderstorm right now, but I managed to get it sanded at least. The only other issue is the cover hasn't worked that well, but I'm hoping that it's not going to affect the finished product as much, but I'll just have to see. Right, so while it's rainy, one thing I did have come today is a nice new toy. So I've seen people use these with their angle grinders and sanders. Well, this is for an angle grinder, but this is a shroud. So hopefully what this will be able to do is allow me to use my angle grinder inside without dust absolutely covering everything. Let's have a look. Their adapter rings, quality. So looks like it's 3D printed. This is just like basically one of the cheap ones you get on Amazon. Let's have a look. Is this the right size? Yay! This my other one's a bit, nah, this is actually better than the one I got with the tool. That's all tight on there. So I'm not going to test this out because it's a bit late at night, but I've got a hoover attachment. My dust extraction is actually pretty good, so I think I'm going to need a larger one. But I'm going to give this a try tomorrow, so hopefully this will allow me to do a lot more sanding inside without dust going everywhere. So it's another day. Yesterday I managed to sand it down before the thunderstorms come, and so the top up here is actually alright. That is quite sanded, quite smooth and flat. Now the issue I have had is around here. I knew I was going to probably have to put a couple layers in the middle here. I've tabbed around where it's cut out, so obviously this is higher and this is like a low point. So I'm going to have to do another layer of fairing compound. But after referring with my colleague from Australia, I've got this L square, which I use now then just for measuring. Perfect width, and it's very hardly flexes at all. So it's actually quite a nice large scraper, as he recommended getting larger scrapers for what I was doing. I was using a small one. So I'm hoping it's a perfect width for where these tabs are. So I should be able to get a nice smooth surface. Now the reason I'm doing this and going a bit overboard with the fairing is I don't want a dip in the middle here. So every time there's water in the cockpit, which I'm not sure if this is going to be such a wet boat because of the high sides, but if I do get water in here, I don't want this to be a mini bucket in the bottom holding water all the time. So I'm going to put some more fairing compound on here in the middle, and hopefully that'll straighten it out. But I'm going to do that today, and then hopefully tomorrow's going to be nice as well. If it is the right level and I've got a nice level in this, then I'm hoping I should be able to paint this tomorrow. So another day, very sunny and hot. This cured yesterday, but I thought I'd leave it a little bit longer overnight and everything, just to make sure it's 100% cured before sanding this, I mean. But hopefully this will be it now. It looks like it's at the right sort of level. That is perfect sort of level. I'm hoping when I sand it I don't mess it up. But I'm first going to give it a good wash, get rid of any contaminants. Got lots of grit on stuff that's come on here somehow. But yeah, just going to give this a sand down after a wash. So I've sanded it down, and I think I've got it as best as I can sort of get it. Annoyingly, I've got some footprints that I can't get out no matter how much I sand it, but I don't want to go too far and put dips in it or something. But it's starting to tinge a little yellow, which might be the UV side of things. So now I've sanded with the orbital sander. That's all I actually have right now. Ideally you'd want something very wide, like a flat sort of sander, to give you sort of like the most level you can. The orbital is alright, but it's not going to give you a really nice flat surface, because it's going to dip and things like that. So that's the issue you've got with like an orbital sander, using something small. You really want something as wide as you can sort of fit in here. But next is to do it with some acetone, and it should be done. So I think I've prepped this as much as I can. It's been cleaned with acetone. I've used some kitchen towels because that's all I actually had, just to wipe off any excess dust or anything else. Hand comes away clean now, so wiping my hand across, don't really get anything. I'll probably make it dirty actually putting my hand on it. But now I just got to mix the paint. So what I'm using, as I said before, is Interprotect. It's a 2-part epoxy primer. Now this might get UV damaged, but the idea of this is just to prevent UV damage to the actual fiberglass underneath. So I'm hoping it will last, but I might do a few coats of this. I've got the thinner number 7 that goes with it. So it's a 3:1 ratio. And then 10% thinner, and then once I've thinned it all down and mixed it all up, got to leave it about 10 minutes. Now I was going to use my tray, but that is a bit dirty, so I can't actually use that. So I'm going to do a bad one and mix it up, and then I'm going to pour it on the actual deck bit by bit and actually paint it that way with a roller. It's a bit dangerous to do, but hopefully it'll be alright. Right, so here we go. I'm going to have to, I've taken my shoes off. Let's see how this goes. I was in the way. Let's see. I'm not sure this is the best roller for it, or I've not put enough on, but I am going to do a couple of coats anyway. And it's a primer as well. So back again today, and I'm going to give this a little bit of a just clean after sanding. I'm going to sand with some 320 grit. I don't know if you can see the shadow, but also whether you can see the orange peel slightly. But I think it's just because it's first coat, but I'm going to give it a sand down anyway and give it a clean wipe down and get ready for the next coat. So I've got this far in the video and I've realised I've lost the footage from where I did the last few coats and went over the finish. So I've come back down here to film some more so you can actually see what it looks like in the end. There wasn't much to see anyway, I just added some more coats on. Now this week I do have a few people to thank. I'd just like to thank Brett from Facebook in a group that I'll link below. But he's been a great help this week at the stage of fairing where he suggested using my L square. So that was a really good bit of advice and I think that saved me with the fairing and actually helped make it finish so well. I'd also like to thank who sent me the sandpaper through my Amazon wish list and the small donations through PayPal as well, which has helped this week. That helped me manage to get the paint and thinners and everything as well. So thanks for people that have been supporting, but thank you for everyone that's been subscribing to the channel recently and all the likes on the videos. That all helps the channel in its own ways. So thank you again to everyone. That's it for this week. I know it's not much really, but it's been a bit of accomplishment for me to look at the finished products of just a small section of the boat, but the fact that it's gone really well. As I progress through this build, I'm hoping to actually have a few more side projects, so not just one small item each week, which will hopefully make it more interesting. Next week, I'm hoping to get the prop off and actually going to be fiberglassing underneath the cockpit. It will then be full strength and take my weight at least. But for now, thank you for subscribing and liking the video if you did like it, and see you again next week.